Hello, my lovelies! I'm going to be yelling because I did a small check and you can hardly hear me. We will have a new camera one day, and I am looking for one that also has the microphone that plugs in, so we'll get better audio, which was a suggestion from one of you lovely people. I can't remember who because I might be tipsy. For example, so this is what happened. This is initially for my Patreons. If they deem that it is okay, this Cooking with Torrin, Tipsy Edition, will be for everybody. But I'm going to let them choose because they're the ones that put their money where their mouths are. Yay, wine. So, yes, what happened was I was going to film this earlier in the day when I had just cracked open my wine, but some moron put her pie plate in the dishwasher to be washed and didn't realize it until it was halfway through the cycle, so then I had to wait, which meant I drank more wine, which means we're tipsy! Yay! So this is kind of not only a Cooking with Torrin, but a Torrin Tries, because we're trying something funky. So, you do see that I have recipes here. If you're ever wondering what this is, these are like recipes that I use often, just kind of get post-it noted to here, and one day, when my kitchen is redone and these hideous cabinets are white, we are going to paint them with magnetic paint, so that I can use magnets and I like having my recipes right here where I can see them because this is where I mix things, and it just makes sense to me. Just makes sense to me. I mean, yes, I do have like books, cookbooks with recipes in them, but these are my shorthand ones that I use the most often. Okay, and kudos. So this is a strawberry pie recipe, right? This is my Graham strawberry pie recipe. It uses jello, and I made this for 4th of July, and it turned out perfect. Perfectly turned out strawberry pie, everything you could dream of. It was perfect. But I have another pie crust left because I can't make crusts. I have a real problem with making anything that you have to roll out. I can't roll squat. Everything sticks to my rolling pin. I even got from Pampered Chef. Now this is slightly more successful. One of these rolling pins works much better for me than the big rolling pin. But even then, I'm not good at crusts and doughs. I'm just not. It's a thing. It's okay. Because I'm good at sauce. So, it works out. And hoodles. I had a pie crust left. Because I used this pie crust. Pillsbury pie crust. Which, seriously though, they have frozen pie crust. You know, like in the section of the grocery store. Don't buy any of the generic ones because they don't work as well. You really want the actual name brand Pillsbury, I'm just saying. Or if you are in a country that doesn't have Pillsbury, you probably know the best version. Use the best version, pay the extra 50 cents. Any hoodles. So I had a pie crust left. But I decided instead of yet another strawberry pie, the old man and I both love blueberry. But there is no such thing as blueberry jello. They have blue raspberry, but if you've ever seen blue raspberry jello, it is like a technicolor, not occurring in nature jello color. It is like crazy blue. So, using my brain, I decided I would make a blueberry lemonade pie. I would use lemon jello with blueberries because why not? So, for this recipe, which we are following Graham's because she knows best, we need a pie crust. Like I already said, we're going to use this one. And we have to blind bake it. And I'm going to show you how to go about that in a second. But this has been sitting out on the counter for about 15 minutes, so it would be soft enough. It was refrigerated, not frozen. If it's frozen, you have to sit it out for longer so that it thaws and comes to temperature, la la la. Okay, other things you will need. You will need 1.5 cups of water, which I need to get my water, but I will. You will need 3/4 of a cup of sugar. Done. You will need 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, which I have. The cornstarch and the sugar get mixed together first. Before you add the liquid, always mix your dry ingredients together. That is like rule number 1 of baking. Yes. Then we need 3 ounces of jello. Now, like I said, if you're going to make this with strawberries, then use strawberry jello, yada yada. But what we're making today is I'm using blueberries and lemon jello. You need 3 ounces, so that's the little box. 3 ounces of jello brand gelatin. It's already flavored, artificial flavoring, all that happiness. For mine, since we're going to blind bake, you need a pie plate. Mine has cooled since it came out of the dishwasher. Glass. Glass is my preferred pie plate. Everything seems to make nice in glass. And since I am blind baking, and since this is a jello pie, a pie that has jello in it, we can't pierce the crust like we usually would during a blind bake to prevent bubbling. So you need some parchment paper and a bag of beans that you're never going to cook. As in, here's my bag of black beans. And then I'm going to put these in a Ziploc container, and these will be my pie crust beans. Because once they've been baked in the oven, you can't then like make soup out of them. They're ruined. But we need the weight. So it's just a bag of beans, etc. So, first things first, I need to preheat my oven and put my pie crust in the pie dish and do my parchment paper, and let's add it to that portion, shall we? Alright, we need to do our pie crust. We do not spray it with anything. Get your pie crust out. One of these comes with 2. Yada yada. If you look at the side, it has a baked shell. Let me make sure you're in frame. For ice cream or pudding. 450 degrees Fahrenheit, 10 to 12 minutes. So we're going to do 11. Because anytime it is one of those, I always just split the difference. So you get your pie crust out. Yada yada. We have pie crust. So you want to very carefully unroll it. Unroll, because now it's all nice and soft. The lovely thing about this stuff is that it perfectly fits your pie molds without you having to roll anything, because, as we have already established, some people, me, are really bad at using a rolling pin. So you just want to make sure that it fits your whatever you're putting it in. Clear glass for me. What do you do at the end? So you just kind of roll them under and make yourself a crust. Now, yeah, this is a little oblong and not totally round, but that's okay. You'll just have thicker crust on some ends, and you know some of you out there really love the pie crust. There's no shame in that. So you just take the pieces that have excess crust on the ends. See, it all works out. So you roll this all under, and then we're going to use a fork to kind of crimp the ends so they look all pretty and stuff. And then we're going to take some parchment paper and line our pie crust. You do want to make sure that it goes all the way to the corners. Yeah, we're going to line this pie crust with parchment paper, and then we're going to fill it with beans. What are the beans for? Now, they do sell things called pie weights, but I don't actually, oh, that's a spoon. I don't actually own any pie weights, so we're just going to use beans. So watch, see? Oh, look, it's a pie crust. Isn't it amazing? I just use a fork. They have all kinds of, like, things you can use to make, you know, fancy fluted edges of your pie crust. I use a fork. I don't even know it's because I'm old school. It's just that I'm cheap. I am a very cheap person. Oh look, isn't it beautiful? Okay, so take your parchment paper. I love parchment paper. I couldn't bake without it. I sincerely, I could not bake without parchment paper. I just want to make sure that I'm filling up the bottom. Because the whole thing is, pie crust will bubble on you while it's baking. If you don't pierce it. Oh, and I totally suck. That's okay. Alright, so, you know, drunk me had a slight accident and didn't move her parchment paper in the appropriate fashion. Typical. Alright, here we go. So we went to scooch our beans all over the bottom of this. So what happens with pie crust if you don't pierce the bottom is it bubbles up. Kind of like an omelet, right? So you want to make sure that it's all weighted down, which for me means putting all these beans in here so that bottom is nice and weighted. Now, it says to cook it for 10 to 12 minutes. So after 8 minutes, I'm going to pop this part out with the beans because this part should be set, and then let it bake the last 4 minutes so that everything is a nice golden brown. So let's see how that goes. Because somebody is not exactly sober. So keep your fingers crossed that this works right. This is how you blind bake though, so hopefully it will work out right. Alright, let's put this in the oven. Alrighty dolls, next step, our pie has been blind baked after 8 minutes. I took the beans out, just in case you were wondering. I'm letting them cool down. As such, I just picked up the corners of my parchment, popped it out. I'm going to let these, they're still really hot, I'm going to let them cool down so that I can stick them in a Ziploc to save to be my baking beans. And as you see, our crust is beautifully baked with no weird bubbles. Why can we not just pierce it like we do most pies? Because the jello would roll around and then it would be gross. So trust me, basically. Okay, I'm just making sure there's nothing in here. Are you guys like me and you put your pans in your cupboards and then they end up with dust in them for some reason? I have no idea why. Any hoodles, yay, our pot. So we need our 3/4 of sugar and our 2 tablespoons of cornstarch burnt. We need to mix those together. Of course, my thing is over here because I'm super organized. If you have non-stick pans like I do, I have these beautiful Pampered Chef. These weird whisks are the best. Like I have regular whisks. Whoops. And you can't use these because they're metal. You can't use metal on non-stick because it's bad. So these little plastic ones, these things are awesome. So mix your dry ingredients together, which in this case is just our cornstarch and our sugar. Set your stovetop to medium heat. Medium, period. Then we have 1.5 cups of water, which we are going to add to our dry ingredients. And whisk. Now, you need to cook this until it is clear and thick. Now, it is not completely clear, but it is clearer. So I will come back because this is going to take a little while. And yes, I whisk during the whole process just to make sure that we don't get any lumps or weirdness happening. But I will start recording again when we are at the consistency we need so you can actually see it, which I always find helpful. So, back in a second. While we wait for our stuff to go clear and thick, I figured I should let you guys know we're using this many blueberries, 24 ounces, 1 pound, 8 ounces is what we're going to put in that pie crust. Awesome. Just so you know, because I'm going to go ahead and dump them in there once it's cool. Yay! Yes, you got to cool your pie crust, which is why mine is on a cooling rack. Alrighty, my dolls, I just want you to see what this looks like. You saw that it was very milky before, and now we're getting to that clear thickening place. It doesn't go like super clear like water, but you see it has a much more translucent feel than it did when it was milky. That is what we are looking for. And it's thicker, as in it coats everything beautifully. If it looks, especially if you're using one of these whisks, like you could blow bubbles, then you are getting where you need to be. Now it is nice and thick. And I am going to leave it for just a bit longer, just to give it a little time to thicken up. But let me get my hand out of the way. Do you see how it's thick? I think this is something that you can't really get from a cookbook. Like, you read it and you're like, okay, but it's not maybe quite what you think it's going to be. This is how it should look. Okay, so now that we have reached that thickened, translucent, clear state, we want to add our jello. If you are making the strawberry pie, then it will be strawberry jello. But I am making the blueberry lemonade pie, so mine is lemon jello. So what you want to do is actually turn it off, leave it on the burner, and then add it. Whisking the whole time. What you want to do is make sure every tiny bit of it is dissolved, because you don't want any weird hunka-chunkas of jello in there, because that would be disgusting. And we do not want disgusting. So add your lemon jello and continue to whisk to make sure you have no lumpies or bumpies and everything is beautifully dissolved. Like so. Hopefully you can see that it is like so. Okay, once everything is dissolved, and I think it is, we're going to remove it from the heat. We're going to add our berries. Yes, we're cool. You have to make sure you're cool. Aren't we all super cool? And then we're going to add our berries to our pie crust. Dee, dee, dee. There we go. Okay, so berries as such. Just going to pour them in. If you are making this with strawberries, you can put the strawberries in. Oop, I lost one. But, okay, I lost two. You can put the strawberries in full, just cut off the green parts. But I tend to actually like to cut my strawberries in half, just because I find it easier to eat that way. Okay, now we have our blueberries all beautifully where we want them. We're going to take this and pour it in gently. You're trying not to spill. If we can help it. We want to fill all the little gaps because we want the berries suspended in this beautiful jello. I'm trying to make sure we don't end up with berries or end up with jello draining everywhere over the crust. There we go. Oh, just a little bit. That's okay. That's why I set it up this way, so that we will catch any of the drippings. And once we make sure it is done dripping, we're going to put this in the refrigerator for 2 hours at least. When I come back and we make Joe eat this and try it and see how it tastes, I will let you know exactly how long I left it in there. But it should be 2 to 4 hours, so we'll check it in 2 hours and see how it looks, and if it takes longer, I will let you know. Okay, I'm going to put this in the fridge.
Hello dolls, so we have pie.
It's been at least 2, maybe 3 hours since I put it in the fridge. I'm not really positive because, you know, drunkenness. So, we are going to cut a piece of this, and I'm going to take you guys into the living room, and we will see what the old man thinks. I don't know why I'm still opening the fridge. It's not where the knives are. Okay. So, well, we'll cut mine first since it might be sloppy. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, the pie looks nice. So, yeah. Let's hope it turned out okay. I did notice that the jello leaked a bit underneath the crust, alas, but you know, that happens sometimes. It's better if it doesn't, but hey, what have you. It did the last time I made it too, so things happen basically. But let's see how it turns out. There's a piece of pie. Ooh, it held together actually fairly well. That's my piece. I always cut my own piece first because it's usually the ugliest piece. You guys know how it is when you cut things and then they don't turn out as pretty as you'd have hoped. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Let's see. Ooh, ooh, and you'll know I did not put Pam on the pie plate, as it were, or yeah, in the dish, as it were. I left it. Ooh, we lost a little bit of the crust. We'll just try that to make sure it's okay. Alright, so here's our pie. I'm going to use a little whipped cream as ready whipped because yay! Yay! And of course on mine I'm going to make it all pretty because I can. But it does not necessarily need whipped cream, I'm sure. We shall see. Alright, off to the living room and the old man to see what he says. There's the old man. Say hello, old man.
Hello.
Oh, we're going to give him some pie. Okay, now you tell us how this blueberry lemonade, whatever the hell pie tastes.
Like blueberry. You get a little bit of lemon, but mostly blueberry.
Mostly blueberry?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on a second. I'm going to go grab my piece. Let's see. Alright, I'm tasting my own. Oh yeah, that's just pretty much blueberry. A little bit of lemon. Oh, that's good though.
Yep. I'd add a little bit of lemon zest.
If I had any actual real lemons, I could have done that.
I thought about it.
But that's pretty good. So I guess it would be safe to say that lemon jello is a good substitute if there is no jello flavor of the fruit you would like to put in your pie.
Yep.
Excellent. Alrighty, my dolls. Good pie.
It is.
Successful. The old man says so. So now I'm going to turn the light off so it's not like blaring him in the face. Alright. Love you. Bye.